He was so small he had to tilt the microphone downward. Barefoot, wearing an old shirt with a rip near the shoulder, yet his eyes shone with something deeper than fear, hope. When the host asked, "What will you sing?" he whispered, "Hotel California, for my mama." Some audience members chuckled kindly, a poor boy singing a classic rock song? But then, the first chord rang out. His fragile fingers strummed the guitar with trembling precision. The moment his voice broke the silence, haunting, raw, soaked in pain, the room froze. He didn't just sing the lyrics, he lived them. Every note carried hunger, sleepless nights, and love for a mother waiting outside the studio gates. A judge wiped her eyes mid-song. Another whispered, "My God, he's special." When the final line faded, "You can never leave," there was no applause. Only breathless awe. Then thunderous clapping, tears, standing ovations. The boy bowed shyly. "Thank you," he said softly. "Can I go now? My mama's waiting." As he disappeared backstage, a quiet realization filled the air. They hadn't just witnessed a performance. They had witnessed a prayer and melody. Miguel lived in a one-room hut with holes in the roof and dreams in the walls. His mother, once a music teacher, had lost her hearing after an illness. But every night he sang beside her. She couldn't hear him, but he'd take her hand, place it over his heart, and whisper, "Mama, do you feel the music?" She'd nod, eyes glistening, feeling the vibrations of her boy's love. He sang to drown out hunger, to replace silence with meaning. When her cough worsened, Miguel began singing at the marketplace for coins. Strangers would pause mid-step, moved by the boy's voice that cracked with both pain and purpose. One afternoon, a kind vendor recorded him on an old phone and said, "You should audition for the talent show. The world needs to hear you." Miguel smiled shyly. "I don't sing for the world. I sing so my mama knows I'm still here." But that night, his mother took his hand and drew words into his palm. "Go. Let them feel what I can't hear." So he borrowed a guitar, walked miles barefoot to the audition, and stepped onto that glittering stage, carrying not a dream of fame but a mission of love. He didn't realize it yet, but his song was about to echo across the world. By sunrise, his video had millions of views. Poor Boy Sings, Hotel California, brings judges to tears. The world stopped scrolling and started feeling. Celebrities reposted his clip. Schools played it in assemblies. People wept at their desks, whispering, "How can someone with so little give so much?" But Miguel? He was nowhere online. While fame exploded, he was back home, sitting beside his mother, strumming softly, smiling. A reporter found them days later. "Do you know you're famous?" she asked. Miguel shook his head gently. "Stars are far away. I just want mama to get better." His innocence melted hearts. Hospitals offered free treatment. Donations poured in from across oceans. A small foundation even built them a humble house, painted light blue with a piano inside. The first night they moved in, his mother touched the keys. She couldn't hear the notes, but she closed her eyes, smiling as she felt the rhythm in her fingertips. Miguel whispered, "Do you feel it, Mama?" And she nodded, a tear slipping down her cheek. In that quiet room, fame meant nothing. Only feeling mattered, and love had its own kind of music. Years passed like verses in a long, beautiful song. Miguel studied music through scholarships and the kindness of strangers who remembered the barefoot boy. He never forgot where he came from. At his graduation, he walked on stage, wearing a simple black gown, the same worn-out guitar in hand. He took a deep breath and said, "I once sang this song to survive. Today I sing it to give thanks." As he played the familiar chords, the crowd stilled. But in the front row sat one woman whose hands rested on a small speaker. His mother, older now, smiling through tears. She could feel every beat of his heart through the vibration. The last note lingered in the air like a benediction. When he bowed, she stood, clapping with trembling hands. The audience followed. Teachers, friends, even the janitor who had once given him lunch. For Miguel, it wasn't about applause anymore. It was about keeping a promise, that one day his mother would feel his song in a place built from kindness. The lights dimmed, and the host smiled. "Tonight, we welcome someone whose song once healed hearts across the world, Miguel." He stepped forward, no longer the barefoot boy but a humble man with the same gentle eyes. He greeted the crowd, strummed the first chords of Hotel California, and whispered, "This one's for my mother, the woman who taught me to listen even when life was silent." Then, a miracle. In the front row, his mother rose to her feet. A small hearing aid glimmered in her ear. As Miguel sang the chorus, she joined in, her fragile voice trembling, beautiful, real. The hall gasped. People cried openly. Even the original judges, now older, stood together, tears falling freely. When the song ended, mother and son embraced. Miguel whispered into the mic, "Kindness gave me a voice. Love gave it meaning." The audience rose, united in one silent truth, that sometimes the smallest acts of kindness create the loudest echoes. Soft music fades. On-screen text, "Kindness can't always be heard, but it can always be felt. Spread it."